Hi children, welcome. Welcome to today's social science class. Children, in this video, I'm going to explain about Mughal rulers, especially Jahangir, Shah Jahan, Aurangzeb, and about Mughal administration also discussing. So let us start our class. Jahangir. Jahangir or Prince Salim was the eldest son of Akbar. He ascended the throne in 1605. Jahangir means the ruler of the world. He is known in history for dispensing justice to one and all. Jahangir and Nur Jahan. In 1611, Emperor Jahangir married Meherunisa. He gave her the title of Nur Jahan or Light of the World. She was extremely intelligent, talented, and beautiful. Jahangir took her advice on all important issues. Once, when he fell ill, Nur Jahan successfully managed the affairs of the empire. Military campaigns started by Akbar continued by Jahangir. The Sisodia ruler of Mewar, Amar Singh, accepted Mughal service. Less successful campaigns against the Sikhs, the Ahoms, and Ahmadnagar followed. Prince Khurram, the future Emperor Shah Jahan, rebelled in the last years of his reign. The efforts of Nur Jahan, Jahangir's wife, to marginalize him were unsuccessful. Shah Jahan. After Jahangir's death, there was a war of succession among his sons. Finally, Prince Khurram successfully annexed the thrones in 1627 after he took a title Shah Jahan, ruler of the world. Shah Jahan showed immense interest in architecture. He built the magnificent Taj Mahal at Agra. A new city called Shahjahanabad, the seventh city of Delhi, was also constructed during his reign. Mughal campaigns continued in the Deccan under Shah Jahan. The Afghan noble Khan Jan Lodi rebelled and was defeated. Campaigns were launched against Ahmadnagar. The Bundelis were defeated and Orkha seized. In the northwest, the campaigns to seize back from the Uzbeks was unsuccessful and Kandahar was lost to the Safavids. In 1632, Ahmadnagar was finally annexed and the Bijapur force used for peace. In 1657 to 1658, there was conflict over succession among Shah Jahan's sons. Aurangzeb was victorious and his three brothers, including Dara Sukho, were killed. Shah Jahan was imprisoned for the rest of his life in Agra. Aurangzeb. Aurangzeb was given the title of Alamgir, meaning conqueror of the world. He was the last of the great Mughals. He ruled for 49 years. During his long reign, the Mughal Empire reached the largest size, covering nearly the whole of India. Military campaigns of Aurangzeb. In the northeast, the Ahoms were defeated in 1663, but rebelled again in the 1680s. Campaigns in the northwest against Yusuf I and the Sikhs were temporarily successful. Mughal intervention in the succession and internal politics of Rathur Rajputs of Marwar led to their rebellion. Campaigns against the Maratha chieftain Shivaji were initially successful, but Aurangzeb insulted Shivaji, who escaped from Agra, declared himself an independent king, and resumed his campaigns against the Mughals. Prince Akbar rebelled against Aurangzeb and received support from the Marathas and the Deccan Sultanate. He finally fell to Safavid Iran. After Akbar's rebellion, Aurangzeb sent armies against the Deccan Sultanate. Bijapur was annexed in 1685 and Golconda in 1687. From the 1698, Aurangzeb personally managed campaigns in the Deccan against the Maratha rebellion in the North India of the Sikhs, Jats and Sandamis in the northeast of the Ahoms and in the Deccan of the Marathas. He, his death was followed by a succession conflict among his sons. Mughal traditions of succession. The Mughals did not believe in the rules of primogeniture, where the eldest son inherited his father's estate. Instead, they followed the Mughal and removed customs of coparcenary inheritance or divisions of the inheritance among us all the sons. Mughal relations with other rulers. The Mughal rulers campaigned constantly against rulers who refused to accept their authority. But as the Mughals became powerful, many other rulers also joined them voluntarily. The Rajputs are a good example of this. Many of them married their daughters into Mughal families and received high positions, but many resisted as well. The Sisodia Rajputs of Mewar refused to accept Mughal authority for a long time. Once defeated, however, they were honorably treated by the Mughals, given their lands, Vadhan, back as assignments, Vadhan Jagir. The careful balance between defeating but not humiliating their opponents enabled the Mughals to extend their influence over many kings and chieftains. But it was difficult to keep this balance all the time. Aurangzeb insulted Shivaji when he came to accept Mughal authority. What was the consequence of this insult? Mansabdars and Jagirdars. As the empire expanded to encompass different regions, the Mughals recruited diverse bodies of people. From a small nucleus of Turkish nobles, they expanded to include Iranians, Indians, Muslims, Afghans, Rajputs, Marathas, and other groups. Those who joined Mughal service were enrolled as Mansabdars. The term Mansabdar refers to an individual who holds a Mansab, meaning a position or a rank. It was a grading system used by the Mughals to fix rank, salary, and military responsibilities. Rank and salary were determined by a numerical value called Sat. The higher the Sat, the more prestigious was the noble's position in court and the larger his salary. The Mansabdars' military responsibilities required him to maintain a specified number of Sawar or cavalrymen. The Mansabdars brought his cavalrymen for a review, got them registered, their horses branded, and then received money to pay them as salary. Mansabdars received their salaries as revenue assignments called Jagirs, which were somewhat like Iktas. But unlike Muktis, most Mansabdars did not actually raise in or administrated their Jagirs. They only had rights to the revenue of their assignments, which was collected for them by their servants, while the Mansabdars themselves served in some other part of the country. In Akbar's region, these Jagirs were carefully assessed so that their revenues were roughly equal to the salary of the Mansabdar. By Aurangzeb's region, this was no longer the case, and the actual revenue collected was often less than the granted sum. There was also a huge increase in the number of Mansabdars, which meant a longer wait for they received a Jagir. These and other factors created a shortage in the number of Jagirs. As a result, many Jagirdars tried to extract as much revenues as possible while they had a Jagir. Aurangzeb was unable to control these developments in the last years of his reign, and the peasantry therefore suffered tremendously. Okay, children, I'm going to wind up this video. Now you have to read this portion many times and underline important points in your textbook. Then two given works. Thank you. Thank you to listening my class.